Hey, I'm Peony, and this is my channel. Today, we're going to do a little bit of art, and I've got a couple of quick, easy, what I call minimalist art projects that we're going to do, and these are going to be done with watercolor. As you know, this is paint and publish, so I teach a little bit of minimalist art because I like to do art where we can just sit down, do it, and get it done. And then I also teach publishing, and I love incorporating publishing for the artist who wants to take their book, their art, and turn it into planners or journals. And so I have a whole tutorial on my channel teaching you how to do that. I also do workshops as well. But today we're going to start out doing a little bit of watercolor projects that are super easy to do. So I'm going to switch cameras here and jump over into that. All right. So we are using the Mungo paint set, and this is the Professional Watercolor 48 pan set by Mungo. I think that's how you pronounce it. I might be wrong, but and I really love this set. It has a lot of great pigmentation in the paint pans. So what I'm going to do is I like to just spray my paint to kind of help get it going, and set that aside. I'm working with a flat brush today, and I'm working in I'm working on watercolor paper, and this is my little watercolor journal. This is by Arteza, and this one is actually 140-pound paperweight. And so we're working with that today. And so we're just going to start with something super simple that anyone can do, because this is for beginners as well. So here we go. I'm just going to wet my brush a little bit. And I'm going to pick up some of the pink paint that you see here and see if we can set this where we can see it. And so I'm going to pull my pen on here where you can see it. I'm really going to load this brush up. So, and I'm going to move this water bowl because I do not want to drip onto my painting. So I'm really going to load this brush up. And I'm not working with a lot of water. I'm working with more pigment today than I am water. So we're going to just make a stroke up this way and kind of come out. And then the next stroke is going to be this way. And then we're going to just do one this direction, just a quick stroke there. And then another quick stroke there. And then one there. And that is the beginning of our first flower. Hopefully you can see that. I hope I don't have too much glare on the paper here. May have to turn this light down. There we go. A little less glare on the paper. So then the next flower is going to be very similar. We're also going to take our brush stroke and come up, and then again the other direction, and then come up the side. And let's just add one more right up through here. There we go. And then we need a third flower, so I'm going to load the brush up just a little bit more. Just a touch more water, and just load the brush up just a little bit more. And here goes the next flower. So we're going to put it right here. And then let's do our, and then let's come out here. Let's make this one just a little bit different. There we go. You can, it's the great thing about art is you can make them however you want. And there's so many possibilities. I'm just going to clean my brush off here. And I'm going to pick up my next color. So my next color will be a yellow. I'm just going to load the brush up heavy again with some yellow paint. You can see here. Just really loading that brush up with some yellow paint. And we're going to just make our little brush strokes right up through there. Just working with the sharp edge of this brush. I love working with the flat brush. I like the flat brush and the round brush, but I really love working with this flat brush and working on that sharp edge. Just getting those nice little colors in there. There's some really cute flowers. So next we're going to pick up our green, and I'll show you in the picture here. So next we're going to pick up our green. Like I told you, these are minimalist artwork. So something you can do quick and easy in generally a 15-minute setting is kind of what I like working with. And I'm just going to start at the bottom here and kind of just give it a little bit of the bottom part of the flower. Yep. And we're going to pick up just, now I'm going to just kind of blend in with a little bit of a darker, it's the same color. I'm just picking up a little bit of the darker shade of it. I'm just going to come down with my stems. There we go. Bring this one right down through here. This one's going to be a little bit tricky. It's coming right down the center of our flower here, but that's okay. All right. Just picking up a little bit more green here, and we're going to just come out and do a leaf. Kind of making a little V here at the top of this flower. And just right down in there. And I'm going to put a leaf right here. And one there. There we go. And then another little leaf right there. Just kind of swirling the brush around. There you go. Just giving it a little bit of definition. And the great thing about this is that you're just really creating this suggestion when we're doing art. We're actually kind of just suggesting things for the eye and the imagination to kind of pick up. But this is really pretty much the completed project. I can add a little depth here into my stem, little shadows come up into the plant a little bit there. But that's really it when it comes to doing watercolor and the way that I do watercolor. Sure, a lot of people may say there's other ways that they do it, but that's one of my techniques for doing a minimalist watercolor. And so I'm going to clean my brush off now, and we will move over to the next project. Hope everybody is having a super artsy day out there. All right. So I'm just going to set this one aside, and we're going to pick up our next one here. And this one is, you might call it Wisteria. I call it the Kudzu because I'm from the mountains of Virginia, the Appalachian Mountains, however you choose to say it. And I love the kudzu bloom whenever it comes in July. So this is kind of my tribute to the kudzu. So I'm going to I don't want to mess this piece up, so bear with me just a second here while I grab a new page and take this one. This is dry. Okay, so here we go onto our next page. All right, let me switch the cameras back. All right, let's give us a little bit more light. Okay, so this time we're going to work, we're going to start with our dark blue, and you can do whatever colors that you want to do, but I'm actually working with blue today. And if you guys have any comments, please feel free to share them. I will be answering questions at the end so that people are able to have a better viewing experience. All right, so I'm going to just pick up some navy blue here. So I'm going to grab this really dark blue. See, that's not the navy I want. This is the navy that I want. Just going to grab this, just really, again, I work a little differently with watercolors, I think, but I'm going to load up my brush again pretty heavy with this navy blue and just come with a swatch right down the center of the page. There you go. And you can even take this off the top of the page if you want. There you go. And just pick up just a little bit more and go ahead and bring in my leaf here. And then let's go ahead and bring in another leaf from this side. And this is a really dark blue. It's really... And we're just going to bring a line out. The kudzu kind of has some curlies, just like the wisteria would too. Just using the tip of the brush here to make a little swirl there. And then we are going, I'm just wiping off my brush, and we're going to clean it up a little bit here. And we are going to turn this over, grab our next color, which is our purple. All right. Just loading up my brush. And here I'm actually going to use a little bit more water and just make some nice little leaf, little light colored leaves. And it's okay if you've got a little bit too much water on there. All I want to do right now is create some light shadows in the background. And can even just take and blot that out. Then we're going to come back in with some dark purple over that. Just adding a little water here to create these little fullness of the background shadows. If you guys hear noise in the background, it's because I live on a little airport runway, so you may hear the planes. Today is a beautiful sunny day here in Texas, and they are actively out there flying their planes. It's a pretty cool little place to live. I live in an airplane hangar, so kind of interesting. All right, just kind of cleaning up my brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of this color, this water, off of the paper. And it's fine if you blot. It's a technique that I use. And then we're going to come back with some deeper purples. All right, so I'm going to load this brush back up again. A little heavy pigment, more heavy pigment this time. Less water, more pigment. I'm going to cut this light down a hair so I feel like it's glaring. All right, so now let's come in with our darker colors here. This is the great thing about watercolor. It just, you'll get some bleeding in there and all kinds of cool things going on. Just giving it that three-dimensional look here. That's the goal. Creating those shadows and letting the imagination, tricking the eye, basically. And there we have our Wisteria or our Kudzu, whichever one you would. If you've never seen the Kudzu bloom, you can certainly Google that. I'm going to just come up here and do a little wash on this leaf here. Give it a little bit of interesting depth and perception. There we go. And that is our project number 2. And we are just now at 20 minutes into this. So we are certainly doing minimalist art because this is going pretty quickly, and we've already done 2 art projects, and we're going to move on to our 3rd one here. So let me dry this just a second, and I'm just going to switch over here and clean my brush off. So like I said, I will be answering any questions that you guys have as we go through this, but I'm going to hold those until the end so that way I can give you the best viewing experience. Let me just see if I can get this to dry, and then I'm going to flip the page here. And next time, I will have to have a second book handy. There we go. Okay, let's move on to our next art project. And on this one, we're going to do the coral roses here. This is also done with a flat brush. I've got 2 versions of this one, and there's the one without the ink, and then this one is done with ink over top of it. So it's fun to mix those medias, and I love doing mixed media, and I love going over a watercolor and adding ink. I have so much fun going back into a watercolor with ink. And I use the Micron pens whenever I'm working with adding ink to watercolors. That's what I've been using, is the Micron pens, but I'm always experimenting with new things. So you will always see probably new things from me because of the fact that I love to experiment. So let's jump into this one. I'm going to just wet my watercolor pan again here. So with my spray mister, let me switch this camera back here. I'm just wetting my watercolor pan. And put that right there. So we are going to pick up, and these are kind of got a couple of colors in them. This has got some coral in it. It's got some yellow, some orange. I don't have really a coral color in my paint pan, so I made that by blending these colors together. So I'm going to show you how to do these rosebuds using this flat tip brush. All right, so here we go. And the first color I'm going to grab is one of these dark orange colors. One of these really vibrant, cut the light up here, one of these really vibrant orange colors so that I can draw my first rosebud with it. And I'm just going to simply make like a teardrop shape. And so I'm literally just making a teardrop shape here with the knife edge of this brush. And then I'm going to make a flat line across the top, right there at the top of the teardrop. And then I'm going to make a triangle here. And then I'm going to come down the other side. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And just come all the way down to the base of the rosebud. There we go. And there is the basis of our first rosebud. Yep. Like I said, it's okay if it's not perfect, because we're going to blend some colors in there and make this look really pretty. All right, so next I'm going to pick up another color. So I'm just going to kind of dry brush my brush out here and pick up a kind of a a little bit lighter orange, and just go right in here. Just a second. And then I'm going to dry brush this brush out again and pick up some yellow. Clean off this brush a little bit more and just pick up my yellow. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start to kind of blend this in with the orange. There we go. Just coming right up through there, just making a nice blend. And then we can clean off our brush a little more and grab even a lighter yellow and just really start to kind of blend so we get rid of that line. And then on the other side, we're going to grab that yellow again, coming up through here. There we go. Yeah. Just blending right up through there. I'm just wetting my brush a little bit here because I want to get a little more transparency in my color right here in this area. Just get a little bit more transparency, fixing my lines. And then I'm going to just grab just a light pink and a lot more water and just dab right in here. And that's okay because we're going to come back to this. We're going to come right back into there and put some highlights in there that'll really make that pop. But see how that rosebud is starting to really shape up nicely? You can even grab a little bit darker colors and just kind of work them in there right up through the edge. Yeah, nice. Okay. And then let's go ahead and grab our next, do our next rose. And this one's got just a little bit more pink in it here. So let's start with our teardrop again. And this time we're going to pick up, I'm going to pick up two colors. I'm going to pick up pink and orange. So we're going to see how this works out. And we've got our knife edge. And again, let's just make a teardrop shape here. Kind of a upside down teardrop shape. And then we're going to come right up through here. And down through there. And a nice little line here. Nature isn't perfect, so it's okay if your paintings aren't perfect either. Let's grab our yellow. Bring that in. I'm going to just clean this brush off really good and pick up this light yellow. There we go. Let's add that pink in. And we'll add some more highlights back in there as this starts to dry. I'm going to grab just a hair a bit more yellow, and I want to just kind of round this little rosebud up. A little bit of there we go. Now, let's grab our next color and start on our third rosebud here. This one we're going to start here again with another teardrop. And let's just kind of angle this one down this way. And in through here. And we can put our top on our V. We're working in the pinks and oranges. And we're just going to grab some pink and a lot of water here. Sometimes I'll just use my finger and just wipe it right off to get the look that I want. Let's just grab some yellow. Blend that yellow, and this is going to give us that nice coral, that yellow and pink. Come right down through there. Yep. Let's do a pink line right down through here. You can overwork your watercolors, so you want to be careful. If it feels like you're just starting to overwork them, just stop, let it dry, and come right back to it. It's okay to do that. There's no reason in this world to keep working into it whenever you can come back to it. Now, let's go ahead and I'm going to grab some more paper towels here. And let's grab our greens. I'm going to just grab the spray bottle again here and spray my greens. And these paint sets, sometimes the paints, because I work with them so heavily pigmented, sometimes the paints just want to stick to my brush and pop around on the paint palette. And that's all right. Okay. Let's get some leaves here going. I'm just using that knife edge of the brush and just going to go right up into that rose with that nice green color. Come down here and make me a V. And a stem. You can, on your stem, it doesn't have to be smooth because remember that rose has thorns. So we're just going to come down and just make some thorns on that rose, and it's not perfect. And just come right down. Grab a couple of colors here. I love doing rosebuds. All right, let's move on to the next one. Then we'll add some leaves here in just a moment. Okay, so again, we're just going to come out of the bottom of a rose. I'm just pressing that flat brush, that knife edge down. And I'm going to load it up with some heavy pigment and come up in the center of it on top of my color that's already there. And then back down the stem. Adding some little spikies for the nice little thorns on that rose. All right. Got one more over here we're going to do. Again, just coming from and just kind of turning the brush out in the opposite direction. There you go. Let's get just a little bit more water on that brush. And then right up the center again. Yep. There's our V right down the stem. And I'm just really taking the straight edge of the brush and just slightly turning it off the stem to create those little spikes. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll add some rose leaves onto this. And again, this is watercolor for beginners because I'm new to watercolors too. I've always been acrylic and oils, and so this is kind of new for me as well. So I'm really enjoying learning watercolors. So you guys are learning with me. Let's do a leaf. So let's just get a rose leaf out here, and we know those leaves are kind of right. That one's not so beautiful, but again, I'm just flattening that brush out on the paper. As I come down, I'm just kind of pressing on it. And leaves come in shapes and sizes, and just like the roses do. All right. Okay, so I want to just lightly touch up on my, or go back into my roses with a little bit of pigment. So I'm going to pick up over here. Oh, yeah. And come down here at the bottom, create some shadows. Just kind of blend this just a little. And there you have your 3 rosebuds. So that's 3 projects in 45 minutes. So that's about 15 minutes for each one of these. So you can see how easy it is to do what I call minimalist watercolor art. Just going to blot that dry as we flip over here, and I'm going to take this. Oh, actually, I'll just leave that there. And take a second here. All right, so let's see. Let's do one more. Bear with me just a second. We'll do one more. This one we're going to use a fan brush on. And let me just switch the camera here. So we're going to use a fan brush on this one, and we're going to do poppies, or my version of poppies. I love poppies too. So we're going to experiment with this fan brush because I love experimenting. All right. So I'm going to just flip this page over and grab some clean paper towels. Clean off my brush. I do want to show you guys this because this is one of my favorite watercolor tools. And this is my watercolor brush cleaner. And you can see it's got the tray in the bottom of it to clean my brushes. And it holds my brushes so that the water runs out of your brush and doesn't, because if you turn your brush, when you finish, if you turn your brush up this way, the glue that holds the bristles in the brush here doesn't have a chance to get dried out. And then that glue will rot, and your brushes, which are relatively expensive if you buy decent brushes, they won't last. So I love this little tool because it holds my brushes and I can clean them super easy. All right, moving on. I just want to share that. This brush is a fan brush, and we're going to kind of play around with these poppies. So we're going to grab some red and different colors. We're going to load up a couple of colors into this brush. So let me switch this camera view here one more time. And just going to spray my paints again, my watercolor paints. And all right, so I'm going to wet the fan brush and blot it out on the paper towel and pick up a couple of colors here. And we're going to see how well, this is an experiment. So let's just see how this works. All right. So I'm just going in here and grabbing a couple of colors. Although I've done this painting, it's been a little while since I've done this one. So let's see how this works. All right. Okay. So all right. So that is going to be the start of our poppy, and I'll have to come back in with the flat brush. I love the flat brush anyway, so but we'll wisp this down here. And it's looking like a mess right now, but just bear with me. We'll see where this goes. All right. So there's the start of one. And again, I'm just kind of being really messy here. And let's just start the other one. Let's just wisp it down. Try to get it to a point here. Coming down to the shape of a flower here. All right. One more time. Let's just grab this color and all right. So now we're going to give up on this fan brush and grab our flat brush back. See if we can salvage this. I'm not worried. What I'm doing now is I'm grabbing some red and a lot of water. Just pulling this together. All right, so now while that dries, just we're going to get our greens and come in the bottom, making the stem and the base of our flower. All right. There's the base of one of our poppies. All right. And then let's get the base of the other ones. I'm just holding the brush on the knife edge again. Coming down to our stem. And then this last one. And there is our poppies. Let's pull just a little bit of red. Just grab some reds and through there. It's just all about having fun with this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oops, got a little bit too much water there. It's okay. And the last one. And there's our poppies. Well, these were 4 really fun projects for me to do. I hope you guys enjoyed them as much as I did today. Let me jump into the questions here, if there are any, and thank everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Sully's House of Thrillers and Baking with Charlene, for being here today and joining me. It looks like G8 City Blue Devils. I really appreciate you guys joining. And if anybody has any questions, I appreciate the compliments that you guys added in there. And I will see you again very soon. But that is it for this live stream today. I hope you enjoyed these 4 fun minimalist watercolors that we did for beginners. I'll see you again soon. I'm Penny. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe so you get notified for more great videos. Thanks so much.